Welcome back to another episode of FML, and I'm super excited because today, it's we have to introduce Fit Dad Life because we have Adam Geiger joining, and I mean this is probably the most we've ever talked to each other semi face to face, considering and what's wild about this is that Adam and I are probably in the same room. I mean, many days of the year.
Yeah. Yes. So many days of the year.
More than we probably want to be.
We vacation a lot together and like
I mean, yeah, if you think about it that way, our families go way back. I mean, we've traveled the country together without
travel the state.
without having a conversation face to face. So Adam and I are both parents of cheerleaders at Rock Cheer Company here in, well, I guess it's in Henderson, so like Denver area. And so we travel a lot for cheer, and we do. I mean, it's funny because I feel like a lot of the times with your content, with like different things, like we're very in line with each other on
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. Like we do the exact same things. And so it's taken too long. I think this is what, year 5 of Rock, right?
Yeah.
And
We've been there forever, I feel like.
I mean, I've been admiring Eve's hair from afar for a very long time. And when Claire was born a redhead and she had that like deep red as a baby, I thought of Eve's hair and I was like, oh my God, I hope that's what it turns into. His daughter has the most gorgeous red hair I've ever seen.
She's always wanting to dye it, and we're like, no, you're not. No, no. Like she just this year started appreciating it, but before this, had we been like, go ahead and dye it, she would have been like, yes. So
Right.
that's she's nuts. But thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I've talked to other, there's another cheerleader there who has red hair too, and she's just starting middle school. She's in classes with my son. And I think like last year she got picked on a little bit and
Mm.
stuff like that. And it's such a, I'm like, what a boring way to pick on somebody. Like, I feel so old school. And it blows my mind that we wound up with 2 redheads because I didn't even know that I had that like in my history. Yeah, like both parents have to have it somewhere. So who knows where it came from on my
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how lucky are we? Our little club, but what it's like a crazy low percentage or something like that
Yeah. I
of
mean, it would have had the fact that it aligns somewhere on yours, you know what I mean? Like that's a recessive gene. You would have needed
right.
them both. Pretty off kill, like it's really off in your house. Cause I mean, like I have brown hair. My beard is obviously red in the sun. Your husband has brown hair, but he has a
Yep. So
very brown beard. I mean, I'm sure there's some red in there, but it looks way more brown. It matches his hair. Like my hair and my beard are two different colors.
his beard in the sun, it'll get like it'll like shine red, but it has to hit it just
Yeah.
right. His grandfather had red hair. And so that was
Uh,
like super easy, right? We're like, boom. And on my side, I'm like, I don't know. Like, who knows? But it's so fun. But we run through sunscreen like crazy.
It's different, isn't it? It's like really real. The whole daywalker thing is bad as it
Yes.
is to laugh about it. You're like, no, for real. Like, she can't be out there for longer than 10 minutes and she will bake.
People are joking, and I'm like, no, really, if you take them to the park for 15 minutes, they will burn. And for Ben, it's underneath his eyes
Oh my
right
God.
gets so, and then he looks like I haven't let him sleep for 100 years. And so this brings me to like another like connection with, so I joke all the time that my ADHD is far too bad to have been given 2 redheads and live in Colorado because you have to be on top of the sunscreen, and I have the world's best intentions, but with them, it's really like every 45 minutes to an hour you have to reapply, and then you feel like, with 4 kids, we're just constantly doing sunscreen. But I had a big hunk of, well, it wasn't a big hunk, but I mean, any size hunk of melanoma cut out this summer. And so now I'm like, I was already careful with them because nothing breaks your heart more than seeing your kid sunburnt. But then with that, now I'm like, you don't want to get it cut out like mom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like once it really happens and it becomes really real, suddenly you're like, I don't know, like I don't know about you, but I become semi like helicoptery about it. And then I'm noticing now about things because I've done it about stuff since my kids were little, just certain stuff like the water. I'm so paranoid about anybody having my kids around water but me. I don't know why. Nothing ever happened to me, right? But I am. But that paranoia that I thought I was instilling some sort of like, be careful, has now turned into their own set of paranoia of like, don't do things. I'm like, oh God, no. I want you to explore. I want you to do things, but like, ugh. So like, yes, the it becomes like too much sometimes for me, you
So
know.
I'm so curious that you said that because you do a lot of cool shit. Okay. So Adam's a strong man. Do you still have a gym now? Like, do you still have Hitbox as a standalone location or
No,
no?
so I closed all that down. Most of it's actually in my garage, and so I have a really dope gym in my garage
Yeah,
now.
I love that. Owning a gym is something that I've always wanted to do, but it's such a scary endeavor because it's a crazy industry. But you've done all of these like things that take a lot of perseverance, a lot of grit, and then jumping into something kind of scary, right? Were you like that as a kid?
A risk taker?
Yeah,
Um, yes and no. Yes. With some things, I was very much just like no forethought, just go do it right now. And with other things, I was this like so complete opposite. Like as much, I had so much forethought suddenly, and I was like, what about this and this and this? And oh my God, don't do it. So yes and no. It was both extremes depending on it. Like I did
yeah,
school every day in high school and I never thought twice about it. I was just like, well, we'll deal with it when we get home and that'll be that. But other stuff I could think every move for the next 10 years of it and how it was going to damage everything. And that was always really confusing to me because I'm like, why? What? Like, how does that work? And then when I got my late diagnosis, I was like, oh, the consistency is kind of the inconsistency, and it depends on the play, and a lot of things came together. I was like, got it.
yeah. So it's funny because I've seen the same thing with our kids, but like I was very risk averse when I was a kid. Like I everything I was like, no, do you see how this can go wrong? Like and then so there's so many like there's a handful of things that I look back on. Like I was supposed to go travel to Australia in college and I like chickened out and I'm like, man, I just really wish I had done that. So then, with kids, I'm on one hand, Vic always he'll just make the sound of a helicopter, and then he'll just like I'll hear it from like 10 feet away. It's like, and I'm like, shut up. And so I've definitely done that. And our oldest is me, 100%. Like Riker is my brain and my personality, and I swear him and I don't even have to put things to words sometimes, like we just understand each other so well. But like Vic was just different when he was a kid, and so it's funny like because now I make myself go do things. Like the trail running is funny. Like I talked to my coach about like going out into Boulder and stuff. It scares the shit out of me every single time. And on Saturday mornings, Vic will be like, why do you do this to yourself? Because I am like, I'm dropping everything. I'm super scattered. I can't find anything. He's like, why are you so jittery? Like, why are you so worked up? And I'm like, because I fucking hate this and I just need to get it done and over with. And like, I love it when I'm done, right? And like once I'm in it. But for the vast majority of it, I'm terrified. But I don't want to not do those things and have my kids see me not do them, right? Because they make me nervous if it's totally within my reach. And so then it's funny because like fitness and like all of this takes on like a whole different life when you're trying to model behaviors that you're hoping they're going to pick up on and want to like that have been really supportive. And then it's funny because I just so late diagnosis over here too. And it's like everything makes so much sense, right? Especially the deeper the diagnosis got.
Hmm.
And then as they got reaffirmed, right? like
Yeah,
I,
that wait, I'm not crazy.
I've
Everybody,
had
yeah.
years now, where I was like, motherfucker, like I can't believe this. And It just kicked my ass where I completely lost my train of thought going with there. But
I'm gonna
trying to
do
help.
that 10 times on here, so just help me work through it when it happens.
Not the worst, right? We're like, come back, come back.
Yeah.
Okay, EMDR,
Yep.
um, where it makes so much sense with endurance training and running specifically. And then I found out like EMDR therapy, where they have you bounce back and forth with like the different sides of your brain. And then running inherently does that. And so that's why a lot of people who are neurodivergent kind of get pulled in that direction because it's so therapeutic and you don't really know why. And it's like, well, no, and then I truly have a pull to running like in a way where I'm like, well, I just have to do it. And I feel like it serves that engine kind of. But then also I think it's that I love Peloton runs and there's one coach who refers to it as like a moving meditation. And I'm like, that's exactly what it is, you know? So I know you've been diving super deep into a lot of that stuff for yourself and for kids and like all of that. So like tell me more, teach me something.
So I think it's really interesting what you just said, and to take the eyes bouncing back and forth a little bit further. Whenever we get in an argument with somebody, right? What's the first thing we do? We're gonna go walk off and cool off, right? Like people will walk away from parties, like it's like inherently kind of what we do when we get stressed. We go walk, or they'll go a long drive on, excuse me, a long drive on the highway listening to music, right? I mean, if you have that vast opening, you're getting that back and forth and close cars and far mountains and houses, and it's soothing to the brain. And then you add music that you love that cues the dopamine, and you're in kind of a trance lucid state at that point. So it's something we love. But when you have ADHD and you naturally feel stress faster and you feel it harder, we need that even more. We're going to crave it more. When we naturally have low dopamine, we don't there's just this like huge bolus of things in life that we're like, we enjoy this. Or even if we don't enjoy it, it's just like we're cool with it, right?
Yeah.
It's a 5 out of 10. Like we don't love it, we don't hate it, but we're good, we're cool with it. We get it. It makes sense. We got to do it, right? We got to do it. We don't have that. We're like walking around at 1, 2, and 3, and there's like this very small version of life that like jumps us up to an 8, 9, or 10, and we don't have any ground in between there, And so I'm losing my train of thought of where I was going with that now in the first place, which is totally cool. Hit
Is
me.
bouncing
Eyes
and
bouncing. Yes, and so like we crave that more because of it. We feel stressed, we need these things, and we have to, I don't know, in essence, kind of battle back and do these things. The problem is I find that because there is that lack of dopamine, we tend to engage in less. So we don't, and naturally we have a portion of the brain that the ACC, which um, eh, one of the things it controls is like how much hard shit you do and how hard it feels. Limbic friction is like Andrew Huberman coins it, and like with ADHD, ours is a lot less developed. So we create a lot of limbic friction in a lot that we do. And then that drives us away from it. So like we have to work against that limbic friction. Like that's why you're doing this, right? Like ultimately you're kind of like, I hate doing it, but like that's what you got to verbalize. This thing that I know like doesn't like to do stuff as much as everybody else. It's like really not liking it, and I realize how bad it affects me. So I got to fight against this little bitch right now, and it's really putting up a fight, right? And then it activates the amygdala, which is like all vigilant. It's like, ah! And they're like, kill everything, and then you're just trying to fix biscuits. Like,
right.
but you
I
can
mean,
only think about this run and the things and the scary and the hypervigilance and yeah.
yeah,
And so we have to do things to work against it. And a simple run, right? Getting more protein and which gives us the chance to create more dopamine, sleep,
yeah,
friendship, like the basic essentials that sometimes this kind of gets to me too, because I'm like, you guys take it for granted. You
right.
don't need this. You get to have it and it feels good or it doesn't feel good. But either way, you're at a 5. With it, without it, you're good. We're not.
No,
Like if
it's
we're
either great or torture.
Yeah, and if
Like,
we're not actively working against it, we're falling down. We don't just like stay. It's like, oh, we worked up to a 5. We stay here. No, we are sliding back down. Our brain isn't physically wired like that. It looks different, so that's kind of a sucky part, you know?
yeah, it's curious because I find too that I mean, on one hand, like, so I've struggled with the idea of like medicating my ADHD, and like, I'm all for it. If like, I'm all for it. Um, I have not yet because I'm a giant baby and I'm a control freak. And then it's funny because the more people I talk to who have had like late diagnoses and stuff like that, that we've developed a lot of those kinds of things. Um, Kind of going along with like the high masking, or like creating controlled systems, or routines and like stuff like that, where from the outside things can look like, oh well, they're just managing really well, like, oh, like they're great at this, like how are they so organized, how do they
Little
get
do
so
they know you're running at a 9.8 the whole time.
today you're just like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Like,
And 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 they don't realize you're doing like the running, the 13 miles, the protein. If you
right.
didn't do that, you would be so far over at 9.8 or whatever you're at. It's probably, exaggerating a lot, but you know what I mean? Like, the ROI a lot of times isn't the same. We're putting in 100 and it feels like we're getting 40% back.
It's like you
Take the
have to,
edge off.
enjoyment thing. It's not
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I could. It's, and but the more I learned that, and then I've put it in play with the kids, and more with myself, and then talking to like my husband about it more, and so now it's not like an offensive thing if like I'm being snappy or something, and then he'll be like, go for a run.
Yeah.
Like, go. And it really is that like, you start to just like, I've described it as like bees almost, where I'll feel like I'm full of bees, and then I'm frustrated about stuff, I'm pulled in a million
Love bees.
directions, right? Just like
That's
buzzing.
perfect. I always explain it as like being at a barbecue and trying to talk and a fly buzzing around, and you're like, I
Yeah,
can't do it. I'm gonna leave or I'm gonna lose my mind in a second. Like, whoa. But
yeah.
bees, yes, it's just, and they're getting louder.
Irritation. And then you layer kids on top. You've got work stresses, you've got partnerships, you've got like all of these different things, your own goals. And it's, I mean, that's why I think protecting the routines and protecting the easy stuff that we know we can do that sets us up, can be so important with it. But then sometimes just getting those systems in place can be so difficult too. And I think people, oh, you'll appreciate this. I had an intake call today where the she had said that when she gets to 8 weeks is always when she hits a plateau, and so she stops doing what she's doing. Is it normal to hit a plateau at 8 weeks? And I was like, well, it's common for people to think that they've hit a plateau at 8 weeks, but I think it's far more that we've hit the point of fuck it, this is taking too long, I don't want to do this anymore by 8 weeks. And so our level of effort and commitment to things shifts, which makes us think that we're plateauing. And so there's like more at play here. And she said she always, that's when she stops. So then we don't get to see what week 9 or week 10 would have looked like. And so really nailing that down can be so important, but I think it needs to be very simple. And think people think it needs to be super crazy, right? So like you mentioned the protein. I have not started the collagen yet because I need to find it in my pantry. I literally have collagen I have not opened. So Adam had taught me something. So I've been making sure that my kids get protein in the morning because it's helpful with, I mean, in general, it's helpful for everybody's brain, but
Yeah, yeah.
especially with ADHD, we want to make sure that they have something that's going to help them stay quite solid and like good in the mornings. This morning, I had my kids line up and pound a protein shake for Riker because he's 5'7" already at 12. And so he gets an actual shake. And then the other two, I poured them Fairlife chocolate milk. And I was like, chug it, and had them do a contest. I'm like, get in the car. Like, at least I know you got that much. Um, but tell me about collagen again, because I want to do this for myself. I got it for my hair and nails, but I mean, if it can help my brain too, I'm here for it.
Yeah, so collagen, I like it. Both of my kids, my son is more impulsive, so his brain is like the bees. Like, and I'm trying to, it's like a shotgun, and I want to make it a sniper rifle more so.
Right.
Um, and my daughter's is more anxious. Between what happened at NCAs that she was there for and her ADHD, she just starts the day on like, what's coming, and um, both of those, so that's there, right? But with ADHD already comes this lack of the neurotransmitter GABA, which is the neurotransmitter that just says everybody shut up, calm down, like not sleepy, just stop, don't be
Yeah.
excited, don't be anything, just calm. And so we don't produce a lot of that, and we overproduce glutamate, which is everybody wake up, it's party time. Like it's that guy that's like Tuesday 2 p.m. let's get drunk, and you're like, bro, we got responsibilities. You
I've
know?
met him. Yes, I
Yes,
know.
yes. I mean, he's a fun guy. It's an attractive. It's fun. Um, but yeah, so we already have those ratios that are off, and then if you add some trauma in there, that makes it worse. So collagen can help create more GABA in the brain to just kind of even them out. Give them a chance to bring in life at a pace that is they can kind of be coherent with, and they can participate with, and they feel comfortable with. And so that's why I do it. Now, I do whey protein a lot too. We have the I use the core. I love the core power. But then we also get like the True Life 30-gram proteins too that my son likes. So I use those also. Um, I'll be honest, it's kind of like, am I feeling like being super dad of making breakfast and doing this? Or you getting a shake? How's this morning looking? A handful of berries. Like, moving
Yep, yep.
on.
I was scrambled eggs or make them chug chocolate milk.
Well, and it's good doing that. And I think um I'm gonna tangent a little bit here, but I I
Go
come
for it.
from working with mostly like female clientele moms, and there's this little bit of like, I guess what I would almost see is like, I don't know if I want to say self-created, but something like that shame of like doing TikToks of like, I'm just going to give them the protein shake. And I get it. It looks like just give it to them. But at the same time, many of our clients won't eat healthy because, making scrambled eggs with this and da da da, like they don't have time for that shit. And if
Right.
they just do that, then it's like, I'm not doing good enough. And you're like, no, you're adapting and you're pivoting, right? Just if you go too extreme, too good, it doesn't work either.
It's
And
better
the
than
other way,
throwing
it doesn't work. Yes,
it.
like work between the two. It's always flexibility, right? Like metabolic flexibility, anything that can go both ways is really what we're looking for. And so, like, getting rid of that kind of, I guess, shame or derogatory look of like, no, it's good because these kids later in life will realize, hey, I don't have to make bacon and eggs and all this stuff to make it. I could just grab a protein shake, and that's okay, right? Because when you have ADHD, then you'll go, wait, I got to make eggs and this and that and this. That creates planning, and then I got to put these instead, and that creates, and then we'll just shut down and not eat,
Right.
right? And
Yep.
it's because we were taught this like hard good versus bad, and not like, here's how to just work between the shit. Like, don't fucking overthink this. Just here we go.
Exactly. No, I love that you said that because I always feel like a broken record, but I share about how we keep a box of the Premier protein shakes in our garage, and I actually prefer when they're not refrigerated because they're a little bit thinner and I can just slam it. I
That thick stuff.
no, I don't want that in my mouth. I hate protein. And I think a lot of it is from my very focused bodybuilding days and when I was eating like 150 to 160 grams a day. I don't love meat, and so it was always a lot of like shakes and dairy and stuff. And so I still like doing dairy. I make myself eat meat like once a day. I'll have like a serving that hits probably like 40 grams of protein. Um, because it provides like a lot of good stuff. So I'm like, fine, I call that my bro meal. And then the rest of the day, um, the shakes I grab when I leave the house. And then, do they always get drank? I'll even say that. It's so bad that my poor car is like a protein shake graveyard sometimes because it'll make it to the car, but I don't necessarily drink it. But
Forget that it brought
it's
it. I'm
right.
zoning out driving on some other shit because when I drive, I have my best ideas, so I
Exactly.
forget about the protein next to
And
me.
you already have three emotional support drinks,
Yeah.
and then you add a protein shake to the mix. But having a rhythm like that, I'd say I have like an 80% success rate with the shake. So it became something where it's more like automatic. So I try to tell my clients to have things like that, because we serve like the same clientele. And so I like to talk to them about having things like breakfast and lunch be far more routine and like boring and check boxes, and like the meals that you're like, okay, accomplished my to-do list. And then that way the evenings can be more flexible and they can enjoy stuff with their family, things like that. So how do you tackle that with clients?
I I'm the exact same as you. Like, because that's what works for me. Like breakfast, like we don't we get up at different times and we don't all eat breakfast together every morning. It's just not how it works. And so, like, get whatever breakfast you're going to get in. At lunch, you're probably at work, whatever. Like, take that thing. You can be specific. But then at night, like, I don't know, like, these are your goals. They're not exactly your family's goals. Don't drag them into having to eat perfectly, or don't overstress it either. It can just put too much on there. Just like come dinner time, worry about protein. Did you hit your protein? If not, here's your chance. Put the rest there, and then eat some veggies and some carbs and eat like a fucking adult is what I tell people. Eat like a fucking adult. Like,
Yeah.
stop every time your kids are eating a snack that you're fucking, grabbing a lot. You're grabbing more than you think. Like, or you can't just only have that either. Like, oh, I had half a fruit roll up and finished the rest of my kid's water. That's not gonna work. Like, you got to be intentional with it too. You can finish it, but you had to have had your protein. You had to have done your hard shit. Like, that's, you got to do it. Like, there's just, and if we had a different way, like, I'd have a lot of money, or you'd have a whole lot of money if we had a better way to, but that's just, there's rules. We just
Yeah.
happen to know what they are very well. And then we're going to be like, here's what they are. I have to play by them. You got to, we all do. Like, we all got to play by them.
Right. So two tangents, or one thing and then a tangent. Um with the eat like a fucking adult, and then there'll be people who are like, well, no, I am an adult, so I don't have to do that or whatever. And to that I say, well, first of all, I don't want to pay my fucking mortgage. I would much rather have that money for anything else, but I like my house. And so I pay the mortgage. And that's what you're doing. So like I refer to a lot to like our macros, like our budget. And I think too sometimes that helps kind of like turn on like taking it more seriously, or like something where I'm like, you're looking at it the same way and you have to pay your bills. And so like protein, you're paying your bills. It's no fun, but we got to do it. And then your carbs and your fats are like where you get to party. They're your extra money. And so like, that's where we can, as long as you do the other stuff. And when it comes to people who don't want to have produce and fiber and things, because I ask my clients not to use fiber supplements. Like, if we have to introduce them, like I'd rather that than nothing, but I'd much rather them try to get somewhere with even just, berries, avocado, like whatever. Have you seen the rates of colorectal cancer for people our age? Like, it's insane. And it's because people eat like shit. I mean, the generation before us, like, I might have this wrong, but I feel like, isn't it boomers that are supposed to be the first generation, or I guess Gen X is, so it goes boomers, Gen X, right? I think boomers are the ones that are supposed to be the first generation to die younger than the generation before them. And I feel so I have a master's in sports and health sciences, and then I'm finishing one up in American history. So I like to try and like find things that go across. And if you look at stuff, it's right when everything got fucking convenience and the microwave,
Right during the revolution, the food revolution.
all that, and then everybody just, it became quick fixes and bullshit food. And then, we try to say, oh, you need to do this stuff. We finally start getting people to pay more attention to produce. And then what comes around? Fucking greens powders. And then it's like, oh, well, you don't actually have to chew your broccoli. You can just pay, $4 per serving for AG1, and then you're fine, which it's just going to give you yellow pea. So don't do that. Stop spending your money on that. And oh, see, now I've traveled too far down my tangent. Um,
Okay. Keep working through this shit. Keep working through it. I'm here for it. Let's just,
on like a
yeah,
soapbox.
yeah.
You're
I'm the
like,
same way. I start getting all worked up and ranting. I'm like getting mad at somebody, and I don't know why.
get me on keto. I attack keto a lot. I'm really mean to it. Oh, that was okay. So no, this looped me back. So GLP-1s. Have you run into them very much?
Yes.
Um, how do you help with that? Um, and feelings there.
I have a bachelor's in exercise science, and I'm going back for my master's in health psychology and another bachelor's in molecular medicine.
You're working towards a PhD, right?
Uh,
Eventually.
I I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of getting talked in and out of it. Like that was the goal. I was like, I'm gonna go conquer the world and become like a mad scientist. And people were like, Hey, if you're not gonna do these certain things, or if you're not gonna be in this field, there's no point in it. And I was like, I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
accept
My
not
point
there.
was just to be like, hey, I was a complete fuck up in high school, and then I went and got my PhD. Eat shit, world. Like you handed me this deck of cards, and I hit a home run. How about that?
Yes.
Like, and I don't. For me, I'm going off my tangent now. Mine isn't like I don't have a job or something as the end goal. I just want all the information. So I'm gonna go as far as that goes, or as little as that goes, and I'm gonna go wherever that goes because I'm not stuck to PhD or whatever at the end of my name. I'm stuck to being correct, not right. So wherever that goes, I just want to be correct in what I'm doing, or as correct as I
I
can
like
be.
graduate degrees because I feel like they're lower lift, right? Like once you get to where you can do that, they only take like the 2 years, right? So then that's
Once you
I
get
had
past that 4 year, you can just start popping them shits out one after another.
yeah, I had GI Bill money left over, and that was how I wound up doing the American history one because I was like, I want to use it for something where I want to do the reading, like where I'll enjoy the books just for fun. I mean, I enjoyed it for like the science side of things, but you have to take classes that like make your brain want to melt. And so that was where I went. So I fully support revenge PhDs and just soaking up all of the
Yeah.
information to just
So that's kind of
have
where
it.
I'm at. Um,
Yeah.
so uh, my opinion on them is I don't, unless you're inherently doing something wrong, like, like, and this is my opinion on GLP-1s, it's my opinion on diets. Um, I try to keep it, I'm also very fucking opinionated. So there's that part. So don't let this fool you. I have opinions. Um, I try to steer the person the way they're going to go as safely as possible. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
I'm going to give them the science that I have and I know, and then I want them to make an educated decision based on that, not based on what I've dealt with in the past or what I've seen or what I've had in the past may not be this. And so I try to go that way. With GLP-1 specifically, I'm for them. Like,
Same.
if somebody is, I don't know, 400 pounds and like the doctor's like, hey, like your triglycerides are through the fucking roof, your cholesterol's through the roof, you're like this is getting bad fast. And you don't really have the time before more damage is done to get down. A. B, there's a whole neurological part that like everybody wants to sit on their soapbox about, but also everybody fucking experiences too about like, well, they should have just like, all right, kiss my ass, bro. Like
People
you're
who
not
have
that
never
like,
lost weight before,
yeah,
right?
like, all right, if I see you in King Supers, you better have that same fucking energy in your cart. That's all I'm saying, or I'm busting your ass out. You know what I mean? Like, don't like miss me with that. Um, so like they need help and help's there, and it's in the form of science. And I don't like when people cherry pick what fits their narrative or their own beliefs, and then try to say, "Well, I read a study." You didn't read a study. I promise you. We read studies. Studies are hard to read. Studies are like if you don't read them regularly, they're fucking confusing. And so,
Go past the abstract.
yeah, so when people are like, I read a study and I know you as a human, I'm like, you probably didn't read a study. You read something on Facebook that said that it was going over a study and they gave you some biased opinion, probably, but that didn't, so I think like they're in the same place as if you need help with testosterone, if you need to take Tums, if you got to take Pepto Bismol. Like, I don't know, if you got a stomach ache, I bet you take Pepto. I bet you're not outside chewing on grass. I promise you're not
ADHD
doing that.
medication.
Yeah.
It makes me think of ADHD medication, right? Because it's kind of like the same thing. So like we talked earlier where like I'll get to the place with like feeling full of bees or feeling that fly around your head. The idea is they're helping with food noise, right? So like for somebody who is inherently struggling with that all the time, and I mean that shit drives me crazy when people who have never dealt with weight as a problem have an opinion and then they think it's not. It's the same thing with all the ADHD shit or the autism shit and like all this, and then people have opinions when they have no fucking clue what they're
Hmm.
talking about. I love that this is available. I really wish there was more support given to make it the best it could be. is the thing. Um, I don't love the fact that like, so I clicked down a rabbit hole on like an Instagram ad. So of course now my whole algorithm is all
Oh man.
right now, and it's all the micro dosing and all of the influencers and stuff like that. And if you go to their, which like cool, whatever, if you can make, I get a commission off of protein sales. So like, shoot your shot, you know?
But you also have a master's degree in this, and so it makes sense that you're promoting it. They probably have
Well,
fuck
right.
all.
I mean, you go to like their pages, right? These like affiliates, and it's just like, oh, imagine being mad at me. Look how hot I am. And that's the extent of what we're giving. I lost weight. Look at me. I microdose, and that's it. And I want to be like, okay, do you monitor your fiber intake because you're never hungry so that you can shit and not develop polyps? Because that'd be cool. And like, because if you have to have, parts of your colon removed in
That's
your
gonna be a bad
50s,
day.
who cares how thin you are?
Or you got to walk
Uh,
around with a shit bag and stink like shit all the time, like because of
exactly.
bad choices. But also, like, it's predatory as fuck. Like these
Yeah.
people are like late night scrolling. They're in the dumps, feeling like hell about whatever. In this case, weight, and then they give them this very vague I took shrooms or micros or whatever it is, right? And this is what I look like. And they're playing on their emotions, on their purpose. And like that is the bad part because these are people who have no idea what they're talking about. On the other side, these people also have no idea what they're talking about. And they're not getting it. And at the end of it, one person gets a bunch of money and the other people get nothing. And the people who did get something out of it, it wasn't the shrooms. It was probably because they suddenly were excited and they suddenly got 10,000 steps a day and ate more protein and just burned more than they took in as a whole. And that goes back to money, right? Like they got rid of the excess in
Yeah.
calories and like, but it's predatory and that's mean. That's bully shit. And I don't like that. Like that shit makes me want to like call the shit out, you know?
I mean, that's like one of my favorite parts about coaching is getting to be like the hype girl when it comes to a lot of that stuff. And especially with the population that like we serve, getting to be there when like the light bulb goes off and like they feel fucking cool, you know? And you see them, accomplish something with weights. I mean, you get to be in person, which is even cooler because like then they do like the strong thing and then it's like, oh my God, I actually did that. And fighting against that like kind of attitude because nothing pisses me off more than when a client says that like a family member is giving them shit about what they're doing, right? Like that. And I have no filter at that point. Like it's like I'm glad you shared this with me, but unfortunately I'm about to go off.
I got to
And
drag them down. I'm sorry.
right,
This has to happen because they're
your
stupid.
husband, like
Yeah.
like, and because I had a client where her husband would actively try to like halt progress, like bring things into the house, schedule things during workouts. And she was like, the doctors told him he was the one that needed to lose weight, but he doesn't want to. And that's always what it comes down to, right? If somebody's being a dick about it, it's usually because whatever good choice you're making, they know they should. And now
Makes them
they feel
uncomfortable.
self-conscious.
Midget
Yeah,
loves
because they're
company.
not used to
They want to get you back over to them. They don't want
it.
change. Change makes them scared. Yeah, and I don't know. It's shitty, and I get it because there's also that like he's scared. He's scared,
Yeah.
and he doesn't know how to say that. Hey, this scares me. Like, are you going to do something I'm unable to do? And then you're going to get too hot for me and I'm going to maybe lose you, but I don't want to verbalize that because of whatever reasons. Or I don't even know that that's what I'm thinking. I'm just feeling the bees and I've never felt the bees like this. And so to make the bees go away, I'll make you do the things we always do every night. And
Yell
it's,
really loud
or
because it,
yell or get over, yeah, get stimulated or frustrated. And it's not okay. And but it's I don't know. I guess I'm going on a tangent now because I get torn between the two because I'm very much like a big fuck you, but also like, dang, bro, I get that though because once I see it like that, I'm like, maybe you don't know how to
you have
say
better
that.
impulse control than me.
I no, I usually just will be whatever one's there, right? I'm gonna go with whatever information I have, and I'm like, and then I get information later. I'm all, okay, you're probably right about that. Okay,
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, so exactly what you said though is what I'll try to like tell clients as we're digging into it with stuff where it's like, okay, but have you guys talked this out? Because often this is where those behaviors are coming from, like what they're rooted in. And like make it as simple as possible for your family. You said that earlier. Your family didn't sign on for your goals when it comes to stuff, right? And I have done, I mean, I'm very lucky to have a husband who supports me like no other with whatever crazy thing is going to take up all of my time and make
Yeah.
him like that poor guy just wandered around Staunton State Park last year with all four kids when it was cold while I was off on the mountain by myself, and like we did not plan well for that, and he just had to like, and I mean they go to my races at like 5 in the morning and all of this kind of stuff, so I'm very lucky to have that. But I think the other part that comes with it is like it's whether or not you make it weird, like what you're going through too. Like if you're constantly complaining about it, then they're not going to support it because they don't want to listen to you, bitch.
Hmm.
Like they
Yeah.
don't listen to you be one because they want you to be happy and they don't want you to be miserable, but also because it's irritating as fuck if
That's
you
shitty
chose
to
to
be
be
around. Nobody
yourself.
wants to be around that all day.
Yeah. It's like then don't if you
Yeah,
don't want
then
to,
fucking do what you want. I don't care. This is your life, bro. I'm just trying to support you. You tell me what to do.
Exactly. And so you really have to make sure that you're in a place where like you're ready, really, if you're going to make these like lifestyle changes. And then the communication of like, hey, this is important to me. This is what I'm trying to do. And then that's where I like, the zero entry pool approach a little bit, where like we're very much just kind of easing in and we're not like lighting life on fire. And I think a lot of people think they have to do that.
Or
You
kind of
know,
want to too. It's weird. It's like
well,
I find that people are like, I want it to be easy, but I want this pamphlet, but I want it to be easy. And you're like,
yeah. They're like, I have no time to do anything, but also I'd like to do 75 hard. Thank you.
yeah, 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 girl.
Like,
Oh, suddenly you're gonna do all those on Monday, and you
oh
can't
my
even cut
God.
out snacks after four? Like,
I'm so
okay.
bad about 75
I
hard because
see.
I'm
That's when
tired.
I'll go off on. I don't.
I
I
can't
mean,
make it past day 8 and it pisses me off.
I
But I
just
think
don't. I'm not a fan of it. I just get
no,
mad at it.
yeah, so same. But it's one of those things where if I'm gonna pick on something, I'm gonna first make myself do it, right?
I'm gonna make
Or
it my
like if I'm
bitch.
gonna state an opinion on something, I'm gonna make sure I know what I'm talking about because that's
Yeah.
just how I am. And so same thing with like 75 hard. So I will admit I've never made it past day 8. But here's the thing too. I um am very particular. And so if you actually look up the rules that are available, it's not just drink a gallon of water, it's that you can't flavor your gallon of water. It just has to be a pure gallon of water. I know a lot of people who say that they've completed it, but if it was raining outside, they didn't do the 45-minute workout outside that day. And then there's like all of these stipulations. So that bugs the shit out of me for one, because I'm like, don't say you did it if you didn't do
Most people, you
it.
didn't do it the whole way. You probably didn't do it the whole way. You're a liar. You're a liar.
Like, I'm like, you better have actually done it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because it is very difficult to do. And then secondly, it pisses me off because it's very difficult to do and it's stupid.
And it's so
Nothing,
appealing. And
but
it's
it's
setting you up for
weird.
failure because it's like everybody wants the structure, which
Right.
it's got great structure. The problem is within the structure, there's no choice. And then people fall the fuck off. And if you have ADHD, don't like, I have to have choice. I have to have choice. And if you're like, no, it's a gallon and it's plain and it's only this, I'm like, oh, this has got about 3 days in it tops, and I'm gonna get so bored because you can't
New.
create novelty, right?
Well, yeah. And then, I mean, at like, so I feel like a lot of the people that we work with too are inherently drawn towards streaks and no, no rest days, and because they get nervous about things and so they want to keep going and they're afraid to fall off, and so it gets very appealing because it's like 75 days of every day's the same. I can't fuck this up as long as I figure out how to do day 1 and just do it 74 more times, except for the fact that you need to rest. And if you're a parent, what are you going to do when the shit hits the fan? Because I give you 72 hours before it does. And a kid is sick, and you were supposed to work out, but now you have to pick them up from school. And oh shit, there's an extra cheer practice tonight, and so I can't go then. Oh, and it's thunderstorm. And all this stuff happens, and then you fall off, and then you have that feeling of like, fuck, maybe I'm not the kind of person this is meant for because I can't make it past day 3. And then that becomes your narrative of I'm just not meant to do those kinds of things. Like, oh, I've tried diets, they don't work. I've tried macros, it doesn't work.
And that's the
And,
scary part because they're stacking that thought on top of the other 5 to 10 things they've tried. This isn't the first. So
right.
it's one more that was like, nope, nope, nope. Depending on how emotionally charged that was, like it's going to depend on like how much that essentially embeds in the brain and how much that now, controls their next decision like this. And that sucks. And again, it becomes predatory and it's based on like, yeah, if you get it done the right way, it feels amazing. But so does getting to the top of Everest. It's a small amount of fucking people who have done it because it's so hard and there's not a lot of ways to do it. There's like one way that you got to do it and it's, thin margins and that's why it feels so good. And there's just like not a lot of people who are feeling that good off of this. I mean, they want to tout it like there are. I mean, you could grab the lot of people who have accomplished it, it is, but if we put the people who have tried over top of that, we're going to get a very small dot in there suddenly, and that's different because there's effects. There's effects from that, you
And
know.
what would be so much more effective is like signing up for a 5K.
Yeah, for a
Like
turkey trot on Thanksgiving with your family and saying I'm going to try to walk each mile within 15 minutes, and my only goal is to not stop walking.
yep, and between now, August 27th, and Thanksgiving, I'm going to spend 20 minutes 3 days a week working on that. And
Can
like
I
that.
can I
Oh, go
tell you
for it.
something that I recently did, and it's because of you and another person I follow. Um, I was a sprinter growing up. I was never a long distance runner, but I would say over the last 5 years, I've definitely been like, I need to like work more in my, basics of cardiovascular, like rhythmic over 5 minutes, higher heart rate, like the basics of what cardio is. Uh, as a professional strongman, I did nothing was over 90 seconds,
Right.
nothing. And now, granted, it was crazy weight, but still, it wasn't cardio, and I didn't have to worry about it. And so, my Whoop band recently released this thing where it's like your age compared to your biological. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, I'm 42 and a half, and it came back as 44 and a half. And I was like, I can't have this. And it was because my cardiovascular was not up to where everything else was. And I was like, so for weeks and weeks and weeks, I'm like, I got to start running. I'm going to start running. I'm going to start. And then I didn't, and I didn't, and I didn't. And for the last 3 weeks, every Sunday, I've now started running. And my very first Sunday, because on there it says to track your VO2, you got to do it for 15 minutes straight. It's going
Right.
to be 15 minutes with GPS on. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. And I don't know, going into it initially, I was like, it's 15 minutes. But then day of, I was like, bro, you haven't ran. 15 minutes can be a long time. Like you got a long stride, your brain goes, and so you could easily overrun your stride. So long story short, I did the 15-minute run, and my only goal throughout it was I'm not going to stop. Even if I have to have the weird old man that you're like, somebody can walk next to me, but I look like I'm doing it, which I didn't have to get to. I was proud of myself. I got way further than I thought in the 15 minutes. I got over a mile and a half, and I didn't have to do that. But I was like, that's my only goal. If I don't stop,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, that's it.
Right.
And so like it's encouraging and it feels just as good if it's just that. It didn't have to be something, all right, I got to get, at least a mile and a half and I have to do this for it to feel good. Like, no, I just can't stop because I'm going to want to say no. And I've got to learn to tell my brain to like eat shit.
Yeah.
Like, and that's hard to do running because it's monotonous a little bit at the beginning and it's hard to get warmed up. And it's, like, and when you're not used to that, you're like, well, oh my God, this is like, the
It's
brain
heavy.
boring feels stressful, feels so
Yeah.
stressful until you get the endorphins and you're like, oh, okay. But that brain boring was really hard. And so I was just like, just don't stop moving. Just, you got to keep going, Adam. I don't care how brain boring it is. You got to just keep moving.
I'm so glad. So Vic started that too, and he So, I mean, he at one point had gotten up to, he was like really pushing size when we got out of the Navy. And I think he'd gotten to like, he was trying to get to 300 pounds. He got to 290. He's like 6'4", 6'5" ish. And his body hurt so much. Like we were in our 20s then. And he was like, this is not for
That is
me.
so funny you said that. That I did the same thing. I'm only 6'3", but I got to 305, and I bet you I was there for 2 to 3 months. I was like, I can't. My knees hurt so bad going up and down the stairs, watching movies. Yeah, I was always like,
Yeah.
Christina was always like, why are you breathing so heavy? I'm like, I don't know, because I'm big.
Snore. Oh my God.
Oh, the snoring was nuts.
Yes, yes. And
Crazy.
so he was like, okay, this just isn't for me. And so over the years, his training has shifted a lot. And like now, like ever since COVID, he's worked remotely. And so he's downstairs in his office in the basement. And then we've got a garage gym and I would go and run. And I mean, he was in the Navy, went to dive school. Like he's got plenty of running in his history, but he doesn't love it. And so lately, he has a Whoop too, and he was just like, I've got to get. Trying to work on getting like resting heart rate and like different stuff under control. And it was the exact same thing where I was like, okay, so twice a week, let's do 15 to 20 minutes. And like, that's it. Just try to pick a pace and just stick with it. And then for the longest time, like it would be okay. So he would get about this much. And then the next week, I was like, okay, start point one faster. Because we have a Peloton Tread Plus. So it goes up big enough for him. And then the stride is long
Hmm.
enough. So a fucking monstrosity.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
and so he turns on something on Netflix and watches, oh, what's it called? The Last Kingdom on that's his cardio show. So that's when he gets to watch it and he
So
goes out
funny.
and puts in his time. And it's been so amazing. And Riker said he's going to go on a trail run with me. And so I'm really excited to get him out there because he had done cheer for I think 3 seasons, maybe 3.5, because he did a half year. And that was like, we tried team sports. We've tried everything. Nothing really got him. We were going already because of Cora. And then I was like, well, do you want to start tumbling? And he really liked the tumbling part of it. So then I was like, well, I'm team mom and I have to go to everything with her. So why don't you just do this and then you can be on the team? And
Yeah,
so he did that for a while. This year he's not doing it. He didn't have as much. He hated the dance and like that. He could never like move his
yeah.
body fast enough. And so but he's back to doing like privates for tumbling and everything with James because he just loves that stuff so much. Oh my God, trail running. So we've been taking them on more hikes and I'm excited to get him like headphones and then we're gonna go together and what he likes to do is like burst forward and then sit down and wait. And I'm like, I'm going to be like power hiking. I don't quite like I can walk pretty fast, like that 15-minute mile. I can keep that up to the top of Green Mountain and then I'll run down. And so my time's always like terrible because I'm like, I am not running on this trail. It's just
Yeah.
not like they call it boulder because there's boulders fucking everywhere. And my ankles are a bunch of little bitches. And so if I run that stuff, I'm going to get hurt.
There will be no running.
Oh no. Oh my God. They've got so much better. But like the animals probably leave me alone because the whole time I'm like, ow, ouch, ow, roll my ankle the whole time. But I'm gonna get him started in that because he likes running too. But right now it's like it feels like a chore. He doesn't really understand it. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to get the good music and get him to find that place where you do kind of lock in to the discomfort and just the steadiness of it. And then it gets better. The worst part is now that I do such long runs routinely, I don't warm up until like mile 4. Like that's when things where I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like it's not until I'm 40 minutes into it. And so
My God, that's like the end of a workout already. Holy smokes.
it's a bitch. Like this week, my deload long run is 14 miles. And so I was like, oh, it's nothing. This last week was 18.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Holy smokes.
Well, I mean, it goes to the whole, if you look at trauma and neurodivergence and all of that, like they all endurance
They all
running.
run together. Yeah. Yeah. Or just it's I find it's some amount of um extreme. Is mine like people like lifting weights? And I'm like, mine was lifting weights, but mine was lifting like 900-pound weights. Like I was gonna
Extremely.
blow my eyeballs out on this. Like,
Oh yeah, not
it
just
wasn't
little.
just heavy. Like I was trying, like I was gonna teeter on really fucking myself up, and that would put such a pool of dopamine into my brain that I was like, cool, I can, and if you're doing that every 4 days, you can, it's pretty steady. And in your 20s and 30s, I'm convinced that this is when ADHD shines at its finest many times. Like hanging out with your friends and it's like always weddings and drinking and your kids' parties have beers there and things like that's fun for the ADHD time. It for me was like the end of 30s and 40s when everybody's like, all right, we're getting responsible. And I was like, oh, we are? Oh, y'all are.
Right.
Oh, okay. Like suddenly I was like, I feel like none of us think the same. This
Well,
feels
there's some,
different.
yeah, that's funny because I still look around like someone's gonna figure out that I'm 25 and have no idea what I'm doing. And,
I feel like 25-year-old Adam a lot of times. It's
right.
like, it's like I'm hooked into that spot. Like that's when I was at my best, and like you just kind of did whatever. I was like a bartender and in school, and I was just like having fun. Like it was
Right.
fun. And
Yeah. I was in the Navy at that point and like super locked in with shit. Like that activated like a part of me that like needed to get turned on. And I'm a really Vic wants the kids to all join the Navy because that's how we met. Or he would love the Navy, but like anything. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Let's see how they grow up. He wants them all to do ROTC so that they get college scholarships that way. So he's like, it's perfect. I'm like, let's see. But I know for me and my impulsiveness and like the decisions that I was making in college, um, as an extremely good at partying party girl, not a good girl. I got myself into plenty of trouble. And like I graduated college in 2008, right, like the first financial collapse going through as an adult. And it was like you either go to grad school and move in with your parents or you go waitress or whatever. And so that's when I had joined the Navy. And it turned out because I grew up on a military base and had always been like, fuck this. I want nothing to do with it once I leave. And at that point, I mean, shout out to ADHD and just making crazy decisions because I walked into that recruiter and was like, I'm going to need something to sign right now. And she
like
was
I'm
like,
ready, ready. If you don't get me right now, I'm gonna be out, out.
yeah, she was like, well, if you do it as an officer, you would need to come back in like a week and then you won't go to OCS until like next May. And this was during the summer. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, what can I sign today? and, like, and so I wound up enlisting and went to go be, my degree was in sociology and I was an electronics technician. Who knew where that came from? And so, I mean, it served a lot of great things. And what's funny is I think that form of extreme, even for me, the things that I look back on that served me so well, standing in boot camp at attention and knowing that I was standing in a room of 80 people in front of our racks. And if I scratched my nose, which I really, really, really needed to, or whatever it was, the little something around your body where you want to move and you just feel like you're going to explode if you don't do it, I would have gotten everybody in trouble and like something bad would have happened. And so having to learn that weird little piece of control snowballed into like so many things. And so I do think the extreme thing, then I wound up with bodybuilding and like preps are outrageously extreme. Getting to absurd places with like I'm 5'7". My body wants to hang out around like 140 to 145 as its like happy place. If I'm super diligent, I can make it hang out in the high 130s, but then I'm like no fun. um And my last show, I got to 117, and they told me I probably needed 2 to 3 pounds off at 5'7". And so, like, the extreme thing, I wonder if it's putting ourselves purposely into very defined boxes because the rules help.
I think there's a structure part of it for sure. We crave the structure, a pre-made structure that we're not good at making because we know we work well in there, but we also within this structure, the problem is neurotypical structure looks like you do this one thing and then this one thing and this one thing, and we're like, yeah. So we need structure like that, but each thing needs like 5 to 8 choices probably, depending on where I'm at in my mood. And then the neurotypical is like, well, we all would like that, but it would make us better. You're like, yeah, it would help you. It's the only way I work though. So different. My brain's
It's either you
actually
let me or I don't.
wired different. It's not a choice. Like this, you're comparing fruits, but like cucumbers to apples here, not like, and so I like that's where it gets, I think, tough per
It's
se.
wanting, yeah, because my brother and I are very, very similar, and I tried to talk him in for a million years to kind of follow in my path with it because I thought it would like serve him well, and he pushed it off like so much. And it's one of those things where I think we get drawn to comfort. It's very hard to say, yes, I'm going to go ahead and let somebody else make those rules. And he's very like me, where, and I had seen this on like a reel or something. I forget how they put it, but where it was like, we're very rigid rule followers as long as we agree with the rule. And if we think
Yeah,
the rule is stupid, then not a chance in hell. And like,
we'll fight it.
and
We'll fight the rule all day.
right.
You know who's bad about that is Disney World. In Disney, yeah, Disney World in Florida. Every year
It,
we go there. Yeah, yeah. That like we went there last year and we were gonna take a picture with Goofy. Now there was one family with Goofy, and Goofy was, I'm not kidding, he was 15 feet away from where we were standing. And there was a attendant right here for the line to be in line. And it was only us. It was only my family in line, just us. And even me were over the crack in the sidewalk by my whole foot. And this man goes, I need you to scoot back. And I kind of looked down and I looked at where the other family was, and I was like, I couldn't be in that shot if I wanted to. It's so far away. I'm like,
right.
it's like just my foot. Why? And he was like, I need to scoot back. And so I was like, all right, Eve, let's scoot back. So I scoot back a bit and I'm like, I don't know, this much over it. And then he went back, back, back until I was every bit of me was like wanted to fight back. There was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you buying that 2 inches? Like, is this a power crave? Like, what the fuck? I don't agree with this is fucking stupid. And I was like ready to raise hell over this shit, and luckily Christina's like, don't do that. It's not. I'm like, you're right, it's not the time. But he needs to learn a fucking lesson because this is stupid. You're stupid, sir. You're dumb. You're lucky you're 60, or I would say some real off the wall shit to you.
Say Florida Disney cast members are a different breed than California Disney cast
Yeah.
members. And I love both. I have grown to love Florida as we've gone with Cheer.
Yes, I have
Um,
to.
from California, I had no tolerance for it the first time I went. I was like, this place is stupid. And like, because I love Disneyland.
California is what you are.
Like now it's all the other parks. I have like no love for Magic Kingdom, but all of the other ones I'm obsessed with. But I have noticed they're not as magical.
No, not
They're
if you're. I did a whole video about how if you're neurodivergent, they're not very magical at all, and you
right.
better be prepared to make it magical because it's tough.
Yeah.
Heat,
And the rules,
the rules.
the like when you're walking around or something and they'll like try to renegotiate you, or they like there's like some small stuff where sometimes I want to be like, because I just Disneyland has always been something so important to me that like for a lot of time, there's just no way. Like Vic made a joke recently. I forget what it was. I got very like defensive about something. And so with a lot of that stuff, I'll get that way. In Florida, I will get straight up pissed off where I'm just like, fuck you, bro. And like I never get that way. And I'm like, but why can't I just have like my the stroller parking, right, will be something similar where it's like the tiniest thing where they move it and then it's like in an entirely different land and
Yeah,
you're
and you're all, how was I supposed to know?
friends.
Why are
I
you
don't have
touching my stuff?
a
Yeah, I've
like
got I've got kids with me. I've got things. Are you wild? Like that had his water on there. Do you know what'll happen if he doesn't have his water? Are you crazy? Do you know what this would do to us? Bro, are you trying to ruin our whole fucking day? Like,
Give me the reason why, right? Like
yes.
that's at least if I say why, like tell me, and then I'll be like, all right, fine.
As
Like,
long as it's not a one that doesn't make sense, right? Like if the reason is like because that's how we decided we wanted to run the company, tell me that. Don't feed me a line of shit about some stuff and I'm all, that's not true, you liar. You know what I
did you
mean?
hear they're making people do videos for the DAS pass? I don't love that.
For the Disney assisted ones.
Yeah, so now if you're getting
So
now,
I knew you had to meet with somebody online. Like you had to actually meet with them and then they
yeah,
decide if you are
and be
or
on
aren't. And I'm
yeah,
all, if I got a diagnosis from my psychologist that says I got it, who the fuck are you to say I don't? But it's because I guess they had such a high amount of people just saying ADHD and
yeah,
autism that they're like, we want to make sure. And I'm like, well, just do like every other entity does. Make them provide it. Like,
paper.
because you guys are going to be biased against it unless it's like the most severe case ever. But like, I'll argue this. Their goal is for people like me and you to like go on these rides and enjoy them. But when I feel stressed harder and faster and it's like 104 and humid and I'm standing and the sun is just like staring at me in the face, I don't care what is behind the door. I'm already too overstimulated and pissed off now. I don't care about the ride product. Like I'm gonna go into it bitching and complaining and picking it apart now. You know,
It makes
like
yeah. It's the people that like the people that piss me off and like if somebody has the audacity to tell me, like, it's so hard to control my face if they're like, oh, yeah, we just submit paperwork for this or whatever, and we've gotten it before. And then I'm like, bro, you're why this is so hard now.
yeah.
Because you fucked with the process and, like, you're not smart and cool. All you did was make things more difficult. And then you'll see people turn around and then they're complaining about this like that they made changes or whatever, and like what I try to remind myself is like stupid rules get made for stupid people, and so like we have to have this stupid fucking process now where they are going to go into it with an air of prove it as opposed to how can I be helpful, you know.
Yes, and that's different.
So instead of and I would hope that that's not the case. I would hope that they're hiring people who are going to come at it from an accommodating kind of place. But I mean, inherently, it
Well, they've
feels
implied that's why it's happening. They've already implied it by saying too many people abused it, and we want to make sure people don't abuse it, which means we are going into this vigilant. That's how I read that. And if you're going in vigilant, you're not, like you said, it's not to help or serve, it's to make sure you're not lying to us.
yeah,
Yeah, and that means you're looking for worst case scenarios, and who knows what you're looking for. What is the guideline now? Like
yeah.
what is autistic enough? What does ADHD enough look like? Because I like you're not going to see that until you put them in the worst case scenario, and then you know what's going to happen? Disney security's going to get involved, right? Like, because that's what happens. I mean, I read a statistic the other day that 75% of people, over 75% of people in jail qualify for having ADHD. Not saying they're diagnosed, but they qualify and hit diagnoses on some level, which, like, think of,
Impulsivity.
well, impulsivity. And then, like, the cops show up, and then, this cop's like, you can't do this, you're this. And you're like, fuck you, I can't. You know what I mean? And now you like they created that situation, and it's because of a person's brain is wired different, and so like that's kind of what that could happen, like you're not enabling the people to enjoy it the way they could or should because you're trying to do it less. You're
I
trying to
wonder,
shorten that.
yeah. Do they? I wonder if they share numbers about that stuff. Like if the numbers will go down actually like drastically, or if they stay like watch them stay stable, and then
I
maybe
hope
they'll
they do stay the same. And then they're like, all right, this was useless. Yeah, it was useless.
right. Yeah.
Like,
So
put your
hopeful.
money into making the lines more comfortable. How about that?
Hey, I got to give Florida that. More of their lines are covered because they
Really?
have to you. Oh, yeah. No, Disneyland in California is 100% exposed. Like
I've only
for
been there
almost
once. I don't really remember it like that. But Florida, I'm like, God, so
no, when
hot.
like the aerial ride, well, I guess the aerial ride at California is covered too. But like there's more stuff with like air conditioning where I'm like, huh, they thought this through. But when they did California Adventure, I remember when they built that park when I was a kid, um, they purposely made the lines wider to accommodate more of the scooters. And
Uh,
that way, they stopped doing the go the back way if you had a wheelchair. They just said, we made the line wide enough. You can take your wheelchair through the line. And then that way, they didn't have people backed up that way. So I do think, like, I would hope that they continue to try and find that, like, that kind of stuff, where it's like, not necessarily like it's not better. It's just like, they're like, no, you can just suffer with everyone else. Like,
you're not getting a
um,
VIP pass. What's wrong with you?
I think I had seen something where they were going to have people like where the one family member, if they, and I can't remember if this was Disney, but like the person would have to wait at the end of the line while the other part went through the line, and then when they met up, and I'm like, oh, that's a dick move. But I never have, like, I have to say, I'm that good at Disney. I'll say I run it like a military operation. We don't usually suffer in lines too much. Like I'm very good at playing the game, but I've been doing it for a really long time, and it's like a hobby. So like, I've
We
got to.
just got the app yet last year, and that helped out a lot too. Lightning passes, is that what they're called? Fast passes,
Yes,
lightning passes. Those are
for it.
were worth the investment for us. It was really expensive, but at the end of it, like the year before, we only got on 3 rides on one day and like 3 on the next. With the fast pass, we got on 9 on day 1 and 11 on day 2. So I was like, yeah, that means we paid like uh $10 or $15 a ride. That makes sense. Like the Velocicoaster, $10. Perfect.
Feels way better. Yeah, I keep a list when we do Disney, and if we don't get to at least 10 things, we can't leave. So I literally,
We
if you
can't leave.
go,
We're staying. We're staying.
I'm like, no, the ride's only 15 minutes, so we need to go to that one. I literally, if you go into the Notes app on my phone, have like numerous Disney days where it's a list of how we do them. And yeah, I always tell people do the Lightning Pass. We're going in like, we go September 23rd. I have a problem. I think that's our fifth time this year.
This year
Yeah.
in 2025,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's either the fourth or fifth time.
you're batting at least every other month you go.
So we went to Disney I think we did Disneyland in January. We did Disneyland in March. We did Disney World in February. We did Disneyland in June. And then we're going again in
Holy,
September.
holy smokes! It's like every month and a half you're at Disney.
My husband's a very patient man.
Holy smokes! Yes, he is. Saint. Holy smokes!
To California, it was literally like it's only this many minutes to Disney, and so like, yeah, we
Oh,
really like it. So then now they just have to deal with the fact that we drive out, and then we had to squeeze it because we'll have Sunday cheer practices, and then we have Thursday practice. So I had to choose one or the other that we were going to miss, and then we got to eat that one. So burning one for the year, but
you have the opportunity to burn one. Like I feel like they should get at least 5 sick days.
right. I mean, this year
It's a
they don't have to.
job. Like it's a job. It's a job for them. Like I like when I look at what Eve does and these cheerleaders do, I'm like, you put more into cheer than I put into my strongman. Like when I competed, like I trained 4 to 5 days a week, but I mean, I could only lift for about an hour, hour and a half until like you can't lift heavy. And these girls are in there 4 hours.
No, just like
It's
sweating.
crazy. Just like I know when I was 12, I didn't have that.
Right.
I had Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 1 hour playing my respected sport, and that's what I did. Like this is another level.
And the expectations on them,
Yes.
like are enough to keep them pushed. And it's just like they get, in a good way, they learn something and then it's like on to the next. And as somebody who got completely steamrolled by puberty, and I grew up in a family where, like, on my mom's side, both my grandparents had gastric bypass or lap band surgery, like each one of them, they each had one. Um, and, I grew up with like weight was constantly talked about in the house when I was a kid. I always joke about like the Slim Fast generation. Like we all had the Slim Fast cans somewhere. Uh,
That's
And
true.
it was like very like we never had whole milk. We had non-fat milk. I like it was all about like, oh, that has too many calories. Like we weren't allowed to have juice in the house because it had too many calories. It was sugar. And so having this thing, and especially working in the industry that I do, and then pivoting towards the performance side more. So, like, teaching my kids that, like, yeah, I need to buy Sour Patch Kids before my long run because I need to have sugar that I can just take in while I'm moving. And then them going and doing all of this exercise and then feeling how they feel so much better on the days they get snacks in between. And, like, we don't want it to be a Taco Bell, burrito supreme. We want it to be this or that. Oh my God, I wish I had had that as a kid because I ran track not for the love of the sport yet. It was because running was supposed to help you be skinny. And
Mm.
so it was like, well, then I'll run track. And like did the same thing going into college and like eventually it just became the thing I did and then I fell in love with it. Um, but I love it for the girls that like they have to be strong. The number of girls in there who are just fucking ripped. And I sit there and I want to be like, I'm not a creep because I'll be like, do you see the shoulders on so and so? Like, I'm like, do you see
Yeah.
her strings? And I mean, it's because there's these kids and they're jacked.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you see what they do, I told James 2 years ago I wanted to get a back walkover, and I stand by this. I feel like we should have a parents class. I was like, how hard could
I've
it
been
be?
saying this forever. I
It's
would
so
do
hard.
it.
Can you do a bridge?
No, I can't do a bridge. But when they used to do the
So
dad's
hard.
daughter ones, like
Yeah,
I went every year with Eve, and I every year I was like, there's like 400 girls on this team, and there's 8 dads in here. This is crazy. How is
so
that?
fun to watch.
Yeah, like none of the dads wanted to participate. And then the best part was when they did, and I don't want to talk stuff, but you know what? Maybe they need to hear it. Most of these dads couldn't somersault. They couldn't somersault. They couldn't skip the
No,
skipping that these dads were
Vic
doing. I
had
was
to
like, that's
help.
not a fucking skip. What is wrong with you? God.
I think Vic had to help lift one of the other girls because her dad couldn't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know what? One of those questions, I'm going to make a reel about this that I get all the time. We've been talking for over an hour. Am I stealing too much of your day?
No,
Because
I got like 10 more minutes and I got to get on a call, but we're
I
good.
love it. Okay. I love when conversations just go.
Yes, they
You know
just
what
go.
I
I
mean?
love it.
Um, a question I get all the time is like, how much weight should I be lifting? Especially since like my clients were going from afar, so I'm not like there watching them to figure out what it is. I was thinking about it, how like, because women will get nervous to pick up the heavier dumbbells and things like that, and they think that they can't. And I was like, whatever your kid weighs, if you still want to be able to pick them up, you should probably be like kind of starting there in like some situations. And so I was doing like dumbbell step ups, and I think I had originally grabbed like 20s or something like that. But then I was like, I mean, Ben's getting closer to 50 pounds, and I have to be stronger than he is. And
What if I had
so
to run up the stairs with him? I better be able to do that.
exactly. Yeah. And so, I was like, that's a nifty little place to tell people to start. Like, figure out what your kid weighs and then make sure you can rep it out. And then I had seen the something where it talked about like, one day is the last time you pick up your kid and you don't know.
Oof.
And so I will just randomly pick Riker up. And so he's 12 and 5'7" and 100 pounds. And we're like the same size. We share concert t shirts. His feet are finally bigger than mine. He wears a 12 and a half.
Holy shit.
He's going to be a giant. Vic wears a 14, and like Riker's not even relatively done growing, and he's in a 12 and a half. And so I'm screwed there. But so I had told him about this. And so I'll be like, not today, Riker. And he'll like jump into
Yeah.
my arms. And I'm like, I got to make sure. Like, because God forbid something happened to him. I took Indiana on our dog. I took him on a trail run with me a couple weeks ago, and that shit gave up with 1 mile to go on the train. He just laid down full sploot. I'm not going anywhere. and he would not. And I waited for like 10 minutes. I'm giving him water and like everything. It's like, nope, would not move. And he's 50 pounds. And so I picked up my giant baby and put him on my hip like I would a kid. And I couldn't see him or see in front of me because he's like wiggling all over the place like a big dumb dog. And like, people are trying to talk to me, and I'm like, I don't have time to tell you the story.
Do you see this big ass dog in my arms I'm running with? This is not the time. What is wrong with you?
I gotta go that way. If you want to walk, move with me. And it's stuff like that. And I've told people before. So you brought up NCA. I feel like it was before NCA a couple years ago. Oh, there was something with like a demonstration that had happened when Gaza and like all of that had kicked off. So it was something about everything like that with that last year, or like when I was team momming, and one of the kids on the team had heard about a shooting that had happened, and then we were at a comp that weekend. It was one of the first ones of the season, and there was a demonstration going on outside, and she did not want to leave the building with her mom because she was scared. And she was crying, and so I was trying to calm her down, and so we all walked as like one giant family and stuff, and that stuck with me. Like it drives me nuts. And then when NCA happened, this sounds weird, but I feel like you'll understand. I was pissed off that I was at the botanical gardens and we had just left because I was hearing about people like running to space to try and collect children, and I was so frustrated that I was so far away, and like all of these people I loved were there, and like I couldn't do anything about it. But so I'll think about like all of these things that had happened. And like if I'm at the gym and I'm doing like heavy squats, if I have 135 pounds on the bar, I'll think to myself, like, all right, that's probably what Jordan weighs. And so I'll imagine, like, I've got Jordan on my back and I have to get her somewhere because there's an emergency, and I have to find that in myself and, like, the ability to do this. And, like, that's the, like, visualization I'll do during, like, normal workouts where I'm like, yeah, it's really heavy, but what if this was somebody that I needed to get somewhere, or I need to be strong enough to do this? And I don't know if that's, like, the Navy thinks. They used to always talk shit about how women can't get men from like one place to another, but like that's something I use weird stuff like that to try
I
and
I relate
find.
to that big time because I have a video of when I was competing at nationals, and Eve was in cheer at the time too,
Mhm.
and I was making a nationals run. So they were actually at Worlds in Florida, and so we're both training for this 12 weeks out, and it was like, you're coming home with first. I'm doing it too. I'm gonna get emotional, just so you know. So so we were both like, this is a big deal. But Christina had to go with her, and she was always went to my comps. This was like also like first time I'm just going with my team, and we're doing this. So long story long, I'm going into second day. I'm in first place, and the first event is this deadlift that like throughout all training I just shit the bed on. I just felt like I didn't make progress. The best I did in training with the implement was 5 reps, and since I was in first, I was like going in the last group, and I was like, what's number one? And they said 13, and I was like, yeah, that's so far from five, like 6 or 7, but 13 is wildly out of range. And
Wait,
so
are you saying 1,300 pounds?
no, it was 850 pounds, but it was 13 reps
Oh,
with it.
13 reps at 850. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it was like this really weird contraption with these handles that were like this thick,
Yeah.
and it was real heavy. It felt so fucking heavy, I remember in training. And so I strapped in, and I first I went to that place of like, you've got to win, and I just got off the phone with her because they had the day one, and so she took first, and I was like, I got to do this. Like, I can't not fucking do this. If I don't do this, here's what happens. And I play this whole scenario of shit, and I'm like, that can't happen. So I'm repping, and I get to like rep 10 or 11, and I'm like, I'm fucking dying in me. I'm dying. And then I always say I go to the dark place, and I tell myself something bad happened, and I can like really envision it in my brain, and it changes my whole day. And it doesn't just happen there. I can do it while I'm driving, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting too sucked into the stop, Adam. Like, you're going to change your whole mood, knock it off. but it'll take me there. And I remember I went down on that 11th rep and I just started crying and I was like, "Ugh," and I just went into like crazy. It wasn't me. That's like, I couldn't call that again if I wanted to, but I went there and I hit the last rep. I got 14 reps and I dropped and I just like bawled my eyes out because I was still in that belief. And they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "Just hold on, leave me alone." Like I had to go somewhere weird for a second. Give me a minute. Like, don't ask me what this is, but that's what I do too. And it's funny you say that because I'm like, yeah, I'll make myself believe some really wild shit happened in my brain, and I'll feel it. It's cathartic. And Christina's like, "Why do you do that?" And I'm like, "If I don't, I can't get it done. There's no other
Yeah.
purpose why. There's just
It's
no
like
other
you have to
purpose."
let it out. You
But
have to
that's
find it and
ADHD, right? Is like
yeah.
it's the the wait till the endpoint's almost there. Wait till the dopamine is forced, and so we're like, well, I know a way to force the chemicals. Believe
Right.
you're in a real shitty place, and then you do, and it's easy because usually there's trauma too, and so you're like, oh, I know that place. Here we go. This will piss me off.
Like do it because you have to,
Yeah,
because
it's
all of
survival.
these things will happen if you don't.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's being able to weaponize that. That I mean, it's funny because our conversation almost makes me think because I try to encourage people where I'm like, if I can do it, you can do it. But then maybe it's good that they can't tap into the like some of the weird places that we can because it takes some of that like I mean, darkness with it, really. But I do, like, I mean, I try to encourage clients to get to that. I'm like, find the weird, gritty place. Find the thing that scares you just a little. Like, we don't have to always be super scared, and I don't want you to injure yourself. But, like, it is fun to be a little nervous when you go under the bar and you step out and you're like,
just
let's
something
see
bad might
how
happen. I don't know. Like,
it goes.
yeah, to play
Because
with fire.
yeah, and see how it feels because it's so cool. And I mean, and then you just go from there and it doesn't have to have expectations towards it, but I do think that we live in a society now where we don't get those opportunities as often to show off that kind of stuff or to let that out. And so then it is important that we do it in places like the gym. It is important that we find it still because I mean, you go back to the fact that we're all just basically animals and we've just gotten really smart and like we still need those kinds of outputs and it's so fucking powerful, especially like I mean as parents in general being buried in everything that takes and all of the different stuff. Like I was talking to a client last week about this, like having that thing that's for you, having the thing that reminds you who the fuck you are. And that is like my mantra, 100%. Remember who the fuck you are is like the thing I will tell myself all the time because I am far too vain and far too prideful to think that I can't do anything I fucking want to. Like I'm delusional enough to think that if I really wanted to, I could figure it out. And so like, and then weaponizing that as often as possible because to me it's like a life that's not challenged. I mean, what's the point? Like, don't waste this opportunity to do something fucking cool. And I mean, if that means you're like the embroidery champion of the world, cool. I will applaud for you. Like, whatever it is, you don't have to want to run or have to deadlift 850 pounds. Like, you don't have to go to the extremes of these kinds of things. But getting to that place where whatever it is, where you're like, I always wanted to do that.
This
Like,
brings me
why?
joy. Like, this makes me
Yeah,
happy. Like, fuck it, it makes me lose 10 pounds, or fuck that it makes you healthy, or any of that. Like, what can you do today that tomorrow when you wake up, you're like, man, I'm really excited to do that again today.
yeah,
Like, that's going to be fun. And
yeah.
like, you need to have that in your life. You have to have that in there because if you don't, it's a very dim light. Like that's ADHD as a whole. That's what it feels like. And I think that's probably why we know how important it is because we are either black or white, off or on, 1 or 10. And so we have to, like, once we found out how this made us feel like regular, we were like, I may not love doing it, but I love the after effects, which makes me want to keep doing it a lot. And if I think about it like that, it makes sense why maybe either, like, and not all neurotypicals are not all divergence, but just like if a neurotypical always has enough, what's the point? Right? Like, you're comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
and in actuality, what moves us is it's just this is so uncomfortable for us every day.
It's
You
controlling
know?
that discomfort.
We're
Like,
controlling being uncomfortable. As society moves on, we get more uncomfortable as the way things are moving, and so we have to control it better. But at some point, because our what we feel are just the extremes of what a neurotypical feels, we're just further up on it. We feel it easier, right? So like at some point, society will push to a point where they feel it just as much, right? And we'll be so far down that rabbit hole, it'd be like, sink or swim type shit.
come on over,
Yeah, we know how to do this. We've been doing this forever, right? And now you
down.
live in our world and we don't live in yours, right? Now it got a little fucking weird, didn't it? Welcome to the crew, guys. you know, like
It's
we'll know
over
how to
here.
do it. Yeah, it's fun. It's crazy as shit, but we get things done.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, it gets done. But I think that's kind of what happens is we feel so uncomfortable because that's how we all are, right? Like we'll wait till it's close to the deadline, like, oop, now I feel it, right? But we wake up, open our eyes, and we're all, ooh, there it is, Jesus. And furthermore, if I go further with it, I find with neurotypicals, uh, they do feel it. And a specific version would be mom brain, which I'm sure you deal with a lot. Uh, there's a lot of moms out there who do feel that, and dads, but I'm just referring to as mom brain, um, because of their metabolic values. Like
Mhm.
if your metabolism is bad enough, you will feel like you have ADHD. The only
Oh
difference
yeah.
will be is you didn't grow up with it. You literally just drew yourself into it. ADHD follows hormones and everything else. So like if you're not eating enough protein and you don't work out, like you probably don't produce enough dopamine. You probably kind of feel like I do a little bit, but you can change it. I can't. You just do the things. Your body will start doing it again. You'll kickstart that bitch up again. I got to do it every morning when I get up. God damn it. So like I don't know where I was going with that, but
No,
people
I love it.
people people metabolically can make themselves feel that way, feel like us, put themselves in that position.
That's why we try to protect them from extremes and stuff. Like I feel like we could go down a whole rabbit hole there where
Yeah,
like that's that's why we try to not go so crazy and create those situations because you can do that and people think, oh, not me, right? But like I said, that's a whole other episode we'll have to do
yes,
at some point.
we will.
So, yay, Adam.
Thank
I'm
you for
so
having me on.
glad.
This was fun, and I'm glad we got a chance to connect. I'm glad like we get to know what we do more, and we'll have a chance to like chat about that more, and that's really cool. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, in the, like such a virtual world and things like that, it's so nice to get to connect and things.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm sure I'll see you at the gym soon.
Yes.
And I appreciate your time so very much. Thank you for coming on with me.
Thank you so
And
much for having me.
yeah, of course, we will talk more soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, guys.